we could call to order, and I guess we can go ahead and just introduce all of ourselves to Alan. While we wait for Timmy. Uh, I'll go ahead and get started. Uh I'm Samantha, of course. My brother and I grew up on a farm here in Canandaigua. My dad is a first generation farmer. He used to sell equipment for Monroe Tractor, Albie Smith, and decided in the year 2000 that he wanted to quit selling equipment and start his own farm. So that's when they bought a place on Emerson Road and they have expanded it so much since then. I'm sure my brother will be able to go into more detail into what they have grown. We were raised in 4-H, my brother and I, and although am not I'm not on the farm as much as I used to be. I try to help out here and there, and when I heard about the ag committee, I just wanted to join and became chair. So, yeah.
Very good. I can follow. So Fernando Sobron, I live in the town of Canandaigua. I live here for 13 years. I work in the dairy industry. I'm a consultant, management nutrition consulting for dairy farms. I've been in this committee from the time that it started. And I'm gonna probably quote the date wrong, but it's probably 7 years now. And as a couple of the other boards members that have been in my position, and I'll let them speak for themselves, we are happy to be receiving new people and new blood and maybe be replaced. Between the last meeting that we had and this one, I was nominated to be part of the Ontario County Agricultural Enhancement Board, and I know that we've been trying to be part of that, not just the town. So I've been I was given the position of business chairperson for the Agricultural Ontario County Board. Ontario County Agricultural Enhancement Board. So I'm gonna be doing that one as long as this one until I can find a replacement for myself. Yeah.
Oh, that's huge! Congratulations, Fernando.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
great.
Hopefully we can keep influencing what we're doing just a little bit bigger circle.
Yeah.
Good to hear, Fernando. I saw there was an opening on the county board, but I figured I think I have my hands full right now. So I'm glad to hear that you're on the county board. That's great. That's great.
I'll go next. Bob DiCarlo. I have a dairy farm in Canandaigua. I've been on the ag committee since the beginning and former chairperson. And we're glad to have some new people that are interested in participating in the committee. I'm actually I did not grow up on a farm. I have no farmers in my family. Got interested in high school, and my business partner didn't have any succession in his family, so I ended up back here on the farm about 17 years ago. So I'm a third generation on this farm, but first generation farmer in my family.
Let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Alan Taylor. My wife and I live on Middle Cheshire, about a mile south of 5 and 20. We've lived in the town of Canandaigua for about the past 10 years. Kind of how I got connected with this, my wife saw that there was a vacancy on the committee, and she thought with my academic background, I've been a professor of Cornell University for over 40 years. I work at the called Cornell Agritech, which is the Geneva Agriculture Experiment Station, my particular area is in seed science and technology, involved in like seed treatment, seed coating technologies. So I have a research extension outreach position there. So that's how I was kind of introduced and to become part of the committee here.
It's definitely good to have you on board, Alan.
Thank you. Thank you, Fernando.
All right, Timmy, if you want to introduce yourself next.
Alrighty, so I'm Tim Stryker. I farm in Canandaigua with my family. We grow grain and hay, soybeans, wheat, rye, buckwheat, and hay, typically horse hay. I've been on this committee for a little while now, and it's definitely beneficial to understand what's going on in the community. And better yet, it's important to have somewhat of a voice. So, of course, we're an advisory board. So, in a way, we don't have a voting power, but we do have influence power. So, it's a way for your voice to be heard. So, I'm thankful for the opportunity to be on a committee like this to represent agriculture. Because I'm very, very, very much so passionate about agricultural protection. We need farmland protection and land use efficiency. So I feel I'm in a good spot to talk about those things.
Samantha, if your committee can consider Alan at any point, and to bring him on, you would need to vote
Okay.
if he's interested. And I mean, you can talk about it more or whatever you want to do, but there will need a vote to make that happen, just so you know.
All right. It looks like we have Jackie here as well. So why don't we can go ahead and start talking about our referral, and then afterwards we can talk about voting in Alan.
Would you like to introduce your application to the committee?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, good evening, committee members and prospective committee member. My name is Mihailo Elizeski, and this is my wife, Jackie Elizeski. We are seeking town board approval to build a single-family residence on our property that we've owned since 2014 up on Bristol Cross Road. And so I understand that we're running through a whole bunch of the committees for advisory to the board purpose. We don't have any ag land on this property. I think we're here to this committee to present because we're within 500 feet. Our northern property line specifically is 500 feet within a former hayfield. It's quite overgrown now. It hasn't been reclassed otherwise, but I think that's why we're here.
You border an ag district, so just so you know. and these are the ag districts. Properties. I just brought them up.
Yep, there we go, right to our north.
Yep.
And again, we're happy to answer any questions the committee members have on our property, on our build, on the existing structures that are there, and what we intend to do there.
So you said there is no active farming in the property as of now.
No,
And
there's
has not
no
been
active farming on
constructed.
our property
Okay.
now.
Has there ever been active farming on your property in the history you've owned it?
I'm sure there has been the property to the north that was in the ag district that was shown earlier was owned by the Barnums. And so was the entire area that's right there. We have a lot of, you can see right in the middle of our property, planted pines that are there. And Mr. Barnum planted those about 60 years ago. And given the topography of the area, I don't know if it could have been any sort of realistic uh, ag area, be it row crop or be it otherwise.
Looked like it was pretty steep contour lines, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does
Yeah,
look like right now it's primarily forest, isn't it?
yeah, that's correct. So it's pines right down the middle, and then hardwoods on either side.
Nice.
And our slopes range anywhere from 14 to 25%.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, I live right around the corner of this, so when I saw it come up, I was like, I don't even think that there's an area to be farmed right there. So, um,
well,
oh, that's
I would say that this proposal does not constitute the loss of valuable agricultural land.
I second Fernando's motion. All in favor in saying that this is not a loss to agricultural land, say
Aye.
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 All right. All opposed? All right.
Just one curious question. Is there any area on that property where it is kind of scrubby, where where it looks like even like a piece of it had been farmed many years ago? The answer wouldn't change my vote, of course, because you know it looks like if anything was ever farmed at this property, it's been, you know, many years. So it's, you know, not a loss of farmland right now, but just out of curiosity, just kind of wondered.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
So there are probably three areas that the committee would be interested in, two specific to that question. On the eastern edge of the road, it is waterlogged, and so that is extremely scrubby,
mm,
to use your words. And then to the western portion of the hillside, that's extremely scrubby as well. There's some water that runs through there. Yeah, it's a drainage from the northern property. That ag land drains right down through us.
Interesting. Because yeah, usually when I see scrub land, that tells me that the land was used for something a number of years ago. It had to have been cleared for some reason, you know, because if it wouldn't be scrub land. Otherwise, it would be either a field or it would be solid, you know, forest. So I was just kind of curious. I just wondered what, you know, the former use of the property was many years ago. Because if it had never ever had been cleared, it would be, you know, tall, mature forest across the whole property. So just kind of curious. It
Yeah, I think,
doesn't change my vote, but just wondering.
yeah, when we talk scrub, it's thicket stuff in there. We're blackberries, raspberries, all of that in that low wet area. The centerpiece is all pines. I don't know what Mr. Barnum did back there, but all I know is what's there now. Hardwoods on the sides and 60-year-old pines down the middle.
Okay. Interesting.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Well,
So,
congratulations.
yep.
I hope you guys are very happy up there.
probably
Yeah.
a quiet, nice quiet spot.
That's right.
Good, nice. Neat.
All right. With that being said, since we voted on it, there really isn't anything else that
Well,
we
I think that we should vote on Alan now that Tim is here. Tim, do you want to introduce yourself to Alan? Alan is interested in joining the committee.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'm Tim Riley. I live out on Woolhouse Road. I'm trying to place where Knapp Road is. but I've been out here for 20 years. I bought an old farm. People call it an antique farm. My barn is 1825 and my house is 1850. So I'm retired. I've been a plank owner for on this committee since it was initiated a long time ago. I was instrumental in reviewing and writing the ag plan way back when it was first developed. And I'd say that some of the primary areas of interest I have, Alan, is to preserve farmland and to prevent or to discourage development in the wrong areas. And based on soil content, activity, is it going to affect the ability of the local farmer to be able to actually carry out farming activities in the area. So it's a good group of people. Mostly everybody's farmers. But there are skill sets that different people bring to this committee. And if you're interested, you probably have quite a bit of things to be able to bring to us. And we'd love to go ahead and see you participate. That's for sure.
Tim, thanks for the background. Yeah, I think as I read through the documentation that was sent to me is kind of the entire sustainability aspects of what we're looking for in our community. Some of the conservation aspects with soils and those components which are vital to having successful agriculture. So this is kind of with my kind of academic background, but also kind of interest is I thought I could contribute to the committee.
That'd be great. Could you do me a favor? I apologize for being late. Would you go ahead and give me a quick
Okay.
summary of your background, Alan? I'd really appreciate that.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so my wife and I, we've lived in Canandaigua, the town of Canandaigua, for about the past 10 years. I've worked at the Cornell Ag Experiment Station, I'm faculty there for 40 years. So I lived in Geneva before coming to Canandaigua. And so my my professional orientation, I'm in the horticulture department at the experiment station, and my particular area is in seed science and technology, where with seeds there's two aspects: either you're a plant breeder or you work in the technology. So I'm on the technology side, such as seed treatments for protecting the seeds from insects, diseases, and application technologies of kind of what we call modern seed technology. And the farmers are using this already. So we're just kind of expanding more what's been done on field crops with vegetable crops and with other type of seeds.
So you must know Rick Peterson.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Rick and I went to Mid Lakes High School together. And so I was a wrestler, so was Rick. I know his brother, Tom Peterson, pretty well. I wrestled with him. He's an incredibly talented wrestler. Well, at least he was back then. I don't know if he is anymore.
Yeah, we had a field trial on one of Rick's farm. They had a parcel of land kind of between Geneva and Phelps and some of the sandy soils up there for some of our organic seed treatments we were working on. So
Okay. Was that the asparagus farm?
It's close by to the asparagus farm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's a very innovative guy,
Yeah.
Cornell graduate, and he's an amazing guy, and his wife is a Cornell graduate as well. And so they're quite a team for sure.
Yeah. Laura worked for Cornell Cooperative Extension for many years before then. She kind of just went full time with the farming operation there. So
good.
deep roots.
Good. That's great. Well, hopefully, they didn't, I hope they found some good fields for their cabbage operation. And their curcubits are pretty interesting. I apologize. My daughter's been here visiting it and she doesn't get down too much. But she's a nurse at Strong. So I've been controlling the dogs. There we go. I got him out. But yeah, and the hops operation, I don't know if he's still doing that or not, but
Mhm.
yeah, they're a pretty amazing duo, that's for sure.
Oh no, but before I forget, just want to mention, of course, everybody on the committee here is pretty much in agreement that farmland is incredibly important. But just kind of interesting when we were talking about, land conservation and land protection. When you protect farmland, oftentimes you can protect some woodland too. So that is something to keep in mind, that if you are passionate about natural land, oftentimes the farmland and the woodland can go hand in hand. So if you're just plain passionate about, protecting pristine land, farmland fits into that equation, in my opinion. Woodland and farmland can go hand in hand.
Mhm.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yes.
Tim, are those flowers for somebody in back of you?
Well, I'm actually at my mother's desk right here. This is the farm office technically I'm at right now. So those are for Mama. They've been there. Well, they've been there a quite a while.
Okay. Well, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so don't anybody
I
forget.
see. Yeah, right.
Well,
So what's
I would suggest that we vote on bringing Alan into the committee as a full participant member.
I second that.
Third it. All right.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Alan, for your
Yeah.
interest. Really appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that. So let me just ask, as I'm brand new to this, and I looked at some of the agendas, it seems like what we did today with having somebody like he's building a house and he's doing that. So is there any homework that I, as a committee member, would do in advance of the meeting, or we pretty much are just listening to the presentation of, in this case, that'd be the property owners and the one have the house built? So I guess, maybe I'm just too academic thinking of what homework I need to do, but I thought I should ask the question is what sort of preparation work that you do before we have these meetings on the second Thursday of every month?
I'd say you can do both. Of course, we usually get the agenda emailed to us at least a few days in advance before
Right.
our meeting, so you can take a look at the agenda
Mhm.
and look up the properties that are coming up for referral. But of course, if you end up not having the time to do that, we discuss the things at the meetings.
Okay.
Usually, if we have a big night with a lot of referrals, I like to review them beforehand if I have time, especially if it's about a particular property I'm concerned about. I like to, get as much detail in my mind as possible ahead of time. But it all depends whatever suits your preference.
So when we're doing referrals, that's kind of the easy part. We just give the recommendation to the town board. Is this going to affect? Is it not? If we can suggest small adjustments to some plans so that it does not interrupt farming in some places, that's when we start really paying attention more to, okay, how are they going to build this? This going to stop flow of trucks into a field or tractors into a field, and can we suggest things? But the other side that we do, or that we try to do, is make the general public aware of agriculture in the town. And when that comes, if we're going to have an event or if we're going to be promoting at something, then we volunteer each other the time that we have to do other things. So Sam has done brochures in the past to kind of make people aware of the type of tractors that they can have in the road and share the roads. We have taken stands or information to the fair. So then there was a year that Bob took corn and a few other things just to make a stand there at the fair and just talk to people coming in. So there are certain types of the year where we will volunteer more time than just this meeting. These referrals are relatively easy, or during the winter it can be relatively less time consuming.
Okay, thank you.
Alan, you also might be interested to take a look at the agricultural plan that I believe is actually online on the town hall's website underneath documents. It provides, really good description. Occasionally we have to review that and update it and make sure that we're meeting all of the objectives that were placed forward in that. And sometimes it's really good to get new people, within the organization to go ahead and start asking questions and reminding us of what the mission is for the Ag Committee. We'll definitely look forward to having any questions or ideas that you have to bring to the committee. I mean, your perspective as a scientist is really quite interesting to me. Fernando actually is a PhD animal nutritionist. So I probably just slaughtered that. Sorry, Fernando.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, but and the Strikers are part of a farm family that have been around for in this area for how many years? And there's Bob Carlo. He's got Faba Farm. He took that over from a farm that's been in existence for a very, very long time. I know Lorelei Gallons really well. I spent a lot of time out on the Gallons farm when I was a kid. But I'm certain that you will be able to go ahead and bring ideas to us that we would all love to consider and work on that would help promote farming in the town of Canandaigua.
Oh, and I can, in addition to what Tim was saying, the town comprehensive plan update. Comprehensive plan update. Yep, that can be viewed online on the town's website, and that's something I like to preach as often as I can, because that plan update is supposed to be the future blueprints of the town, basically of the important farmland that the town recognizes as important farmland. There's a map of that, and there's also a map of where the planned future development is. So I really like to view that plan and reference it. And I think it is very important to understand that map for the referrals we might have. Because in a sense, that comprehensive plan is only the plan if people respect the borders of that map. So that, I think, at times could be, argumentative and could be, something to continue to advocate for, is, the respecting the boundaries that were drawn in that map, because that plan, while I like that plan, it is actually just, a guideline. So we have to keep continuing to preach the importance of protecting farmland and ensuring that there's both things in the town, agricultural protection and also future development. It just comes down to proper strategic placing of both those things. Comprehensive plan update. It's actually quite a plan. I really actually enjoy reading it because it's got a lot of neat talking points and neat photos.
It looks like Kim brought it up for us.
Yep, just looking for the map.
Cool. Thank you, Kim.
So yes, basically, the members that made that plan, are trying to map out the future of the town.
Just so you know, Sarah is working on an update to this map with Labella that would identify the overlay area that your committee had worked on. That was County Road 30. I think Risser Road was the south boundary, and then the municipal boundary, and I think Route 21 was the other one. So it's this area in here.
Mhm.
So that would also include updated PDRs that I think there's one that's missing from this. So they were going to update this map. So
Okay.
which will help.
PDR is purchasing of development rights. So if a farmer is getting development pressure to sell their land for housing or whatever, the state in the past has had a program where they will purchase the development rights. And it's a pretty interesting plan. I think that there's been how many PDRs have been processed and paid out? At least 4, if I recall correctly.
It's probably been more than that. I think we had 4 in a single year before they changed the program, and we evaluated PDRs for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. There's also something called, Bob, what's the other one called? TDR?
Yes,
Transfer of development rights, yeah.
that's Canandaigua's not really using that right now, but it's a future possibility.
Right. I guess the other thing that I would add on to it is that the town has a preference for development where development should go, and that's up by the airport, up in the north part of town. That's called the Uptown area. I believe that last time we met, there's a developer that wants to build several I guess condos in through the area, as well as several apartment buildings up in that area. So if the town as a whole could go ahead and continue to push development up in that area, it continues to preserve farmland out in these areas where we want to continue to preserve farmland.
Yeah.
As map.
Contain the development to the development zones is the plan that I like. So you keep it from spreading out into the countryside.
Mhm.
Strategically place things so the land can be utilized efficiently and we can all be happy.
So this was the big one that they were just mentioning, the Uptown Landing. It's Parkside Drive, Emerson, up there in that area, behind Route 332. So it's kind of like behind Honda and those other places.
Okay, yeah.
Now, Kim, you mentioned that the line is being adjusted a bit with
The map is being updated in the it will be updated in the comprehensive plan too, but the town's working with Labella right now to get some maps updated.
okay.
The line
that's
is
one of
already
the
defined.
maps.
They are just gonna put it in the map.
Yeah.
They're updating the map.
We
'Cause some
had
of the
defined the
maps-
line before, and we had other maps that have that line. We just don't have a map that has both the the green area there on the top and our comprehensive area.
Okay, I was gonna say, should I be concerned that the farmland protection line, is that gonna change at all? Should I be concerned?
No, it's not gonna change. The red line's gonna stay the same. The Ag Committee had worked on an update to code where there was an overlay district created where the planning board couldn't approve water or sewer being added in that area. It would actually have to go to the town board. So it's kind of like a higher level of approval. And so that kind of helps discourage some of the larger developments from going in that area, which had some of the most prime soils in the town.
Okay,
So it's not reflected on this map. And so they'll put that in. And I believe there's a PDR or two that are not reflected in this map. So they'll add those. So it helps people when they want to look at protected areas in the town or protected farmland in the town. So.
okay.
So Kim, are we kind of told like when there's some revisions or changes in some of these larger documents so we can kind of be up to speed with that?
Yes, so when there's town code, there's a proposed update, they will refer it out to boards and committees. So like this map, when that is going to be updated because it's an official document,
Mhm.
that will come through the different boards and committees probably to see it, especially if it's farmland, this committee
Right.
would see it.
It could impact this
Um,
committee for sure. Yeah.
And then this committee would come up with the review and comments, and then those would get funneled back to the town board.
Okay.
And we do have a software system that helps the applicants put all their information into the system, and so it will have site plans and all what they're planning, and we can give you access. And so you would be able to look at the documents ahead of time.
Mhm.
And I can work with you to get you set up on that and things like that. And just so you know, when the committee brings in new people, there's a referral to the town board. So the town board actually appoints the new members. So usually it's no problem, and we'll send along like your resume and stuff like that to the town board, and then they'll have a resolution and vote on that. Just so you know,
Okay.
that's the process.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, this is what we use for those referrals, and then we can bring up like different documents. So this was like the big one we were talking about in the north part of town. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. And then these are all of the single family homes going in, and they've got apartment buildings
Mm.
and townhomes and stuff like that that are all going in. And this is Blue Heron Park, if you're familiar with that. And so that's all going in right over in there.
Yeah, and I can just mention, Alan, so that particular area is just a few miles away from my family's farm, but that particular property where those houses are proposed to be built, that is where I'd rather see the houses. That particular property has been vacant for many, many years. Basically, as long as I've lived in Canandaigua, I've known that property to be vacant. And it's also right next to 332. So if you are going to build a bunch of houses in town, that is the property I'd like to see it, placed instead of out in the countryside, right next door to me. So this is kind of an example of where I'm glad to see that that particular property could be used for that so that we can, all be happy. So we all have our own piece of the pie.
Mhm.
So, yep.
big development there, the way that was.
That's a big
Yeah,
one, yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
I am going to be upset about the increased traffic.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
gotta admit that I am concerned about the increased traffic because I do have to travel down those roads right next to where that new development would be.
Mhm.
But development's coming, so I basically it will just be satisfied if the development gets strategically placed where I can at least deal with it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So we can at least all, we can all have a happy medium. So we get some farmland protection over here, some new development over there. Happy medium is what I like to have.
Good. Thank you for the orientation and the background.
Yep.
I probably sound like a broken record, but I know some people I just can't preach this information enough because I feel there's been a lot of farmland lost to development over the recent decades, so I'm just very concerned about the future.
Yeah.
Samantha, I will let Sarah know about the vote tonight, and so she can make a resolution for the town board.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
All right. Is there anything else that we have in our agenda?
No, there wasn't anything else. I do eventually want to start talking about planning our summer event. We don't have to do it tonight. We can plan it. We can put it on the agenda for next month's meeting. Maybe trying to piggyback off of a different event that the town put on instead of doing it on the kid movie night, maybe doing it on the food truck night or something, just trying to find a different target market.
So the last one we did, I need weather help. It was a little bit better. Did you guys felt that we had enough people stopping by and asking questions other than can I get on the tractor?
Yeah,
Is there
I don't
anything
think
else
there
that we
was
can
many.
do to promote a little more interaction?
Yeah, I don't think there was many people that stopped by. I didn't really notice many. There's a couple people that were interested in my tractor there, but not I didn't feel like many people stopped by the booth. So I think we need to have a different target audience, a different, you know, uh, different event to encourage more interaction. I mean, I think Outhouse Park is a great place to have the event, but I just think it needs to be on a different night when other people are showing up for some other event that's hosted there. What did you all feel? Samantha, what's your thoughts on that?
I kind of wanted a little bit more out of it with the people engagement as well as the local producers. I called about 20 people and only 2 of them showed up. So I was kind of upset about that, but I think there just needs to be more plan and getting hold of people a lot sooner than later, which is why I want to start really working on this event now instead of a month or 2 before.
So what other events do we know of where we could, set up a booth?
Well, I know that they do like the food truck Wednesdays,
Yep,
so
yep,
that you
mentioned.
get a ton of different people. It's not just specifically like people with young kids. Uh, they also they did on the food truck nights. They had a live band, so you can get people coming in to look at the band or wanting food trucks, stuff like that. So I think it would have worked out better because it's an older crowd.
Hmm.
As far as just also trying to coordinate with other uh resources, so maybe even bringing in the crop of extension and help Hex, asking them if they can help us. Maybe you can ask, is
I
it
can
Jake?
ask old Jacob.
Yeah, if he can help. That way we could just make it bigger, more entertaining, and it doesn't hurt to get other resources. I mean, the Copper Extension, they pull off the fair, so.
How do you guys feel about meeting in August? You know, do you have time to be able to go ahead and set aside you know, for this type of event? Or are you going to be busy, you know, getting, you know, whatever you're harvesting into the barn per se?
I like August. It's kind of, I mean, the whole growing season is busy, but if there is something that's going to be planned, August is usually a month where I can plan a little bit better. There's usually a couple lulls in the battle, you can say, in August for me. Yeah, I'm usually done with wheat, done with, first cutting hay, so I'll be focusing on like second cutting hay and, some miscellaneous things. So usually I have a little bit of time to play with in August.
How about the
you see.
farmer's market? Maybe we could have a booth at the farmer's market. All the producers are there and people that are buying, you know, produce, you know, I mean, it's the height of the produce season right then, are going to be there as well. It might be interesting to at least consider that. Perhaps, I mean, and we don't have to have a band.
That's good idea, Tim, the farmer's market. That,
So
that
what will be the idea promoting that we will be promoting there? What will be the goal? Because those people can
farmland,
already are on board, right? So, and I'm not against. I'm just trying to
Well, then
visualize
what's
what-
the audience? Sam mentioned, you know, she wanted to have the providers together, invited the providers together. Well, the providers are already going to be at the farmer's market. You know, who do you want to bring in? Who do you want to bring into the farmer's market? You know, what is the audience that you want? And I mean, that's another aspect to you know, the solution that we want to provide. You know, maybe we should go take a look at the ag plan and determine what that is. The year that we did it at the county fair, we were talking about PDRs. We had a huge amount of interest during that time frame in that, and that's when Mark Stryker brought in, you know, the corn, and all the kids went home with corn in their pockets, and it was a lot of fun. But they also had, you know, all of the displays, people showing sheep, you know, whatever else was going on there. But I don't know. That's a good question, Fernando, that maybe the group needs to answer.
right, because we got to get something out of this event. We need to increase awareness of the committee to the members of the town, and we also need to have awareness to anybody who might want to participate in the future. If we have vacancies on the board in the future, we need passionate individuals to join us.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing to talk about. And having the producers there, you know, maybe they would want to go ahead and sign up.
Yeah,
Or
that's
at
a
least
good
just-
point. That will be a good goal.
I mean, like my main goal of doing the event was to not only just like get awareness of the ag committee as well, but also to make more awareness of the local producers, because not a lot of people go to the farmers market or have even heard of some of the places that I've reached out to. So it's just something like that. Another thing, like idea that I wanted to do, I think we've discussed it in the past. So like if we go out to like Geneseo area and you're driving by and you see like the protected farmland sign, I know that those are really expensive, and we've discussed that it's probably just out of our budget, but there has to be like a budget friendly way of like promoting like this land right here is protected farmland, you know.
Helps increase the awareness of the importance.
So the ones that are within our budget are similar to what we put in of Canandaigua farm friendly place that it's in each of the entrance, each highway entrance to the town. But they wanted to do something nicer for the purchase of development rights and for the protected areas. So we could always bring it up again to the board of saying, if we don't have budget for the other ones, we want to at least design something in here and post around the farms that are protected.
Right.
And we can definitely bring that up because we have the budget to do those type of metal signs that the town makes.
Okay.
So that agriculture map that's being worked on right now, that would be really interesting to have that up, so that people can see where the farmland is and what's been protected. And then you could go ahead and say, this is where you are at this location right here. If I was going to design something, it's already been designed. You could probably do that and encase it in some type of plaque. Is that what you had in mind? Something like that, or
It's more a sign that says this land is agricultural protected land under the PDR project, and just put it in in the different farms that are protected, just as just pointing out the sign.
on the roadside, so people driving by could see it?
Yes.
Correct.
Just again, making more of an awareness. So like I made those brochures to hand out for the awareness of farm equipment, and then the signs can be just awareness of, like people driving by, like the land that Tim and Dad farm on our house. I mean, like it's not protected. I just use that as an example, but like be like, here, like you drive by it every day and might not have even known. So,
If it ever became protected,
yeah,
you could have a sign there to increase
Like-
awareness. But of course, the home farm though, you could put a sign by our home farm, theoretically speaking,
Mhm.
saying this is protected farmland.
Yeah. Again, that's something that we need to talk about, like go in more depth tonight. I know I just sprung it on. We can talk more about it next and have an actual plan on what we want to do as far as the event in the summer, and then adding more awareness.
Sounds good.
With Alan on board, you might be able to go ahead and put together a cycle, a life cycle for, a plant that shows the seed going into the ground and the preparation that goes into it, and all the way up through the harvest. Would be interesting. I'm thinking about Outhouse Park or the farmers market or wherever we're going to do that. Promoting farming. I think that we've spent a lot of time with youth to promote farming. Those types of things would be interesting. You might be able to go ahead and have a poster contest, to go ahead and promote farming within youth. I'm sorry, I'm spitballing, but there's just so many ideas that you can come up with. That's for sure. We should probably choose 2 or 3 and go for it.
I'm sure that will be also easier when we get back in an in-person meeting as well, instead of doing virtual.
So let's all brainstorm some ideas and then we'll come back together at say next meeting or the meeting after, and we'll discuss more.
All right. With that, why don't we can put it to a vote to adjourn the meeting, and we'll continue this discussion at the next one.
I make a
I
motion to
second that.
adjourn the meeting.
All right.
Second that.
Alan, thank you so much for attending, and welcome to the Ag Committee.
Welcome.
It's very nice to get to meet everybody and kind of understand your philosophy and also your passion for what you're doing here with this. It's really, really good to hear.
Thank you.
Kim, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right.
Good
Good
night.
night,
Have a
good
good
night,
one.
everyone.